Hi, this is Cheryl back with you from Farmhouse Frugally, and today we have a vintage cottage collection. I am starting with this pretty handmade wooden soap holder that I got at the dump. Now, I love it, but it isn't going to go with my bathroom, which is rather cottage, so I painted it white to begin with, and I printed some graphics on rice paper that I got on the Graphics Fairy for free. And I just did vintage pictures for one, which I did with this little brush holder, and then decided I wanted to do something more soap related. So I just did soap, and I came up with all kinds of soap labels. So if that's something you're interested in, there are many to choose from. I just tore that off the rice paper and decoupaged that directly onto the back and going over the top of the whole label. And then once this is completely dry, I took out a mix of antique wax and clear wax together, and I just went ahead and added mostly to the edges of the label and then to the edges of the entire piece to give this a much more vintage feel. And then once that was done, then I moved on to the second part. But before we do that, this is part of a collab called What Would You Make? OK at Home DIY and Connie's Wood Shop and DIY are our hosts, and Deco Easy our co-host for the month. I will leave the information in my description box and the playlist for you to check out. Now, the second part of this is that I got this soap making kit also at my dump. I know my dump is amazing. It had never even been opened, and I have always wanted to do this, so I'm glad I didn't have to spend the money on it. So what you do is you take these like powder, almost like eye makeup, and some fragrance, and they come with stamps and they come with pretty papers, and you just add 4 of the blocks in your microwave safe dish, and you microwave it for like 30 seconds. It didn't take long at all. You put a couple drops of fragrance, well, as much fragrance as you want. I only wanted a couple drops. And then whatever color that you're making, you add some of the powder and stir it until you get the color that you're looking for. My bathroom is rather pale pinks and greens and grays and such, so I just wanted to keep this pretty light in color. And so I made several just to figure out how to do this, and then you let it harden and let it cure for a little while, couple days, and then pop it out, which was not as easy as it sounds. Popping it out of there, not so easy. So if I ever do it again, I think I would get a silicone. And then it came with this really pretty paper that already had dried flowers in it. So I just cut a piece to fit the way I wanted it to fit over the soap, and then used some of the raffia to tie that on to the bar of soap. And I realized that soap is not made out of wood, but I wanted to use the soap kit, and I wanted to use the soap dish that I got at the dump together. So I am just adding this to my wooden soap dish. And I absolutely love the way that this came out, and I think that it is absolutely adorable and very vintage cottage. So I would like to know what you think, and I stuck my little hand brush underneath, which technically I think is a brush for clothing or maybe even shoe shining, but I thought it would be really pretty to go together with this vignette that I am making here today. Now that takes me on to this wreath form that is obviously made out of wood. It was a twig form that I got again at my dump, and I pulled out some of the greens that I had bought on Temu, or Temu, however you say that. I will, again, as I've said during that video, not going to be shopping at Temu again. I did the one and only shopping just to do the review, and it's just not something I like to support. So I am just going to use up the things that I've purchased from them, and that was this eucalyptus, and then some later on a bunch of the flowers, this one here, that I think I paid $2 something for. I had these 2 white roses in my stash, so I added those to the bottom, and then I cut up the burgundy and pink one from Temu and then just not randomly, because I kind of like things a little bit symmetrical. So luckily for me, there were 5 pieces, so I was able to put 2 on either end and then 1 in the center between the 2 roses to give this a much more symmetrical look. And I really like the way that these colors are looking together. I feel like these are very cottagecore, and they also happen to go very good with my bathroom, so I may end up using a number of these pieces in my bathroom together. So after I finished this wreath, I just hung it on the wall in my dining room for the moment, just to let you see what that looks like with some other cottagey looking pieces. Once I finished with this one, then I moved on. Now, if you've seen any of my recent videos in the past few months, you know that I've been doing the artwork in my bedroom over. So my husband had picked up this pretty frame at the dump some time ago, and it didn't have a back to it. It was just the glass and the frame itself. So I cleaned that up really good, and I don't mind the color of it, but the frames in my bedroom tend toward white rather than this off-white, and I thought it looked a little fresh and clean to just give this a nice fresh coat of the white chalked paint. And then I will distress back a little bit, because the other frames that I have done are also distressed back, either to a gold or a silver, whatever I happen to have in that frame that every one of them that you're going to see came from the dump. Now, I have also gotten the artwork for all of these, which are watercolors, from online free. So if I can remember, I know some of them are from the Graphics Fairy. I will either link the videos to that or try to remember to tell you where I got these. Beautiful watercolors, so if you like a vintage cottage feel, that's something that you might be interested in. So if I can find it, I will. Otherwise, I'll just link the videos that I have them already located in. And then I just put the glass back, cleaned everything up. I got a piece of cardboard and added that to the back. And then that was all that I did for this. And here it is with that vignette that I am making here today. And then here it is in my bedroom. I have not mounted it because we have to paint the bedroom wall, but here it is just at the base of the dresser, and then some of the other ones that I have done. And then that takes me on to this piece of wood that is a cutting board that I got for 50 cents at a yard sale. I took it outside and sanded it really good. I had a lot of cut marks in it, and then washed it, and this is what it looked like when it dried. And I love, love, love the edges, not so much the squares in the center. And so I wasn't quite sure what to do, if I should decoupage or transfer or do something. And at the end of the day, I decided I had something I wanted to attach it to that is white. So I decided to just real carefully just paint the centerpiece with 2 coats of white chalked paint. Afterward, I do end up spraying the piece with a matte finish polyurethane so that it will protect and seal the chalked paint, and then also protect the piece in the event that I put something on there that would reactivate the chalked paint. So after the 2 full coats, and then the mahogany on this did bleed just a little bit through, that's why I needed to give it 2 coats. But then once I was done with that, then I just went ahead and took my E6000 and this white base that you might have seen when I got back from my vacation in Maine. It is another piece that I picked up at the same yard sale for, again, 50 cents. So this entire piece cost me $1. And I just pressed that on really well, sprayed it with the poly, and that is all I did to it. And I'm really glad I picked up both of these pieces at that yard sale, because I think that this came out really nice, and I really like it with the other items that I have in my bedroom. I would love to know which of today's was your favorite. Don't forget to check out the playlist. And hey, if you do me a favor, please share this. I'm about 35 people shy of 2,000 subscribers, which I couldn't do without you. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.